Hi everybody, my name is Anna and I'm going to talk to you about my single activated ST Blast as an ESTJ. So I'm an FM blaster, which does still make it a little bit harder for me. And though I do have like this very natural urge to be regurgitating something that I've slept on from my sleep, it's very choppy oftentimes if I'm not like already processed. And so I agree with the analogy that blast sleep is just like a little mole or like a little gerbil coming out of the ground, like ooh, 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 I got something for you. Okay, I'm going down. I got something for okay, I'm going down. And so I am masculine DE, masculine TE, and that does manifest in numerous ways. Mostly like I have the tools. I know the right tribe reasons, and I am going to tell you about the tools that you need to implement. And also because my NE is single activated masculine, I'm very confident that they are the right ones for you. And it's almost like a false confidence because I'm just sure of it. And I'm very often surprised that those conclusions don't go my way. So there's almost like a naive surprise or shock from my end, which a lot of people find endearing because it's almost not justified, not thought through. My blast is not very intellectual. It's very feeling based. It's very wishy-washy. It's open to interpretation. It's never, I don't know. I feel like it can be interpreted very differently. So everything I gather from my SF sleep, I share out into my like douchebag EST blast. So it usually comes in the form of like, hey, have you seen this thing? There's a new product I need you to try. You have this kind of hair, you're gonna love it. Let me talk you through about why it's the best. Throw away the thing that you have now. This thing is better. Never mind what the reviews say. Look, I did it on mine, and look, you and I are the same. And so it's kind of salesy about things most often. And I've heard a lot of people say like, damn, are you working for this company? Like, are you getting affiliate links? Do you have like a blog brand or something? Like, are you going to tell us more about this? I'm convinced I'm going to go get it. But in like this joking form. So it's pretty silly. A lot of it alludes to my work. Because of feminine FI, I'm usually very open about the things that I try for work, the tools that I use. I'm always wondering what else is out there that can make my work more efficient, like ST efficient, TE efficient. So I'm always scanning the scope of tools, the internet, doing my like branching out. In fact, oftentimes in work settings, I have the strange habit of, I should say, like, outsourcing my work. So I've over-optimized my work to the point of like creating a template for something or creating some kind of mechanism or algorithm that then does my job for me, which then leaves me with no work. So it's kind of a silly predicament to be in because it's, it does the job better and faster, but it also leaves me with fewer things to do. Of course, that was in the past. So I'm on to different challenges at work now. I have a very unapologetic blast. So I preface people often that I can talk about something forever. So, please stop me, or please show me signs that you're not comfortable going on about this, or pivot me, because I can keep going, and it's very OI, and I can, it is even without the sense, I don't even care that anybody is truly engaging with my blast, because I'm play last. So I'm just please listen to me. I have a lot to say. I'm really knowledgeable about this one thing, and I really want to share it with you because DE, and I need you to know that I have valuable things to say. And I almost don't care that we have a conversation about the thing, as long as I am allowed to blast. So, OP is a very, I think, relatable example to all of you, since, it's not often that all of us have one or two other people we can talk to about OPS about in our daily lives, like our spouse or our boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever, or parents. It takes a very unique skill to introduce OP to someone in a holistic way that they'll accept and want to absorb for themselves later. So, I can talk about OP to my husband, but he will just politely nod, and I try to squeeze it into some other parts of our lives, or how something relates to something else. And it takes a lot of work. But OP is something that is in my FI and something I really care about. It's just that, to share that, to blast it out uncontrollably, even though someone else is not ready to receive it, something that happens a lot. Or, my frustration at you're just into Myers-Briggs, okay? You're, that's just silly. There's so much more depth you don't even know. So that's something I encounter. Occasionally I'll have conversations with my mom about what I observe in her, and everybody's interested in hearing how they come off and how they are perceived. So I'll tell her a few things, and she'll engage in the OPS kind of system, and I'm well, here's the website, here's this and this and this, and I blast all the resources. I'm certain she's another EJ. I'm certain she's a consume play, or a play consume, and skibby a little bit more. So I don't think she's, she's very polite about it, but I don't think it's enough in her world that she will go to consume it herself. And I don't know. So my TE is just useful and really in my element when the blast is useful to the tribe, though. That's the best case scenario, right? OP, not so much. But if I can provide something insightful or useful, or provide the right tool at the right time for a certain scenario that I am knowledgeable in, or provide advice on aesthetics, advice on physical things, is just the best. Someone asked me about hey, what kind of clothes hangers should I get? I was bam, that's the one, and then gave a couple pointers on advice. And so I just love to be helpful in that way. But that's kind of the extent of my interest in being helpful, which frankly isn't very big, but I'll discuss that in the play last video. But so here I'm an app nerd too, so I'll find a niche thing that I'm looking for an app to do and hunt it down, and has anyone built something like this? And so I'll kind of sleep on what is out there and make mocks, designs of what I'd want something to be, and it usually doesn't go anywhere, but I've definitely had TE thoughts about how can this get more useful? I know that this exists, I'm into genealogy certain apps, Ancestry, 23andMe, didn't go as far as I'd like. Wish they did XYZ more. Who can I bring this to? Who do I call? Kind of like empty, upset that they did not do enough for me. But I do put in the work, the exercise of like, well, if I could offer them something, what would that be? So sometimes my interests happen to go that far of like, what would I offer if I was given the privilege of like influencing a product? I like to make sure I have a system. I use spreadsheets, of course, Airtable, not Google Sheets, not Excel. Are you kidding me? This is 2023, guys. Get yourself an Airtable account. It's critical at this point. It's just the better way to do spreadsheets. How's that for SD Blast? And so I used that so I could compare prices for key, if we're buying a couch, if we're buying something of significant amount of money, you start to do price comparison, like qualities comparison, paste in the pictures, looks comparison, how does this fit into the room, like all of these variables are all laid out for me to see, to do like that comparison. Love apps that track stuff, everything from Apple Health and all of my workouts and everything. I love the trends over time, everything to do with health and weight loss and all of this stuff. Love Finch. Finch is a great app for like self-care and self-tracking and meditation and kind of doing good sleep, which I realize now, being sleep second, like it's not a huge gap in my life, and I can see how sleep last, this would be much more impactful since you might be missing that piece more regularly. But it does track certain things that I could maybe see trends over for my like lacking FI. I shouldn't say lacking FI, but it is the most triggering for me as an EJ. So it is interesting to see what exactly is triggering for me, because the problem with FI last is that even when it's double activated, I see it, but it's also something that I fight with a lot. I'll talk about that later. Yeah. So I definitely know that I give too much information in a way that nobody else cares about except for me. But I'm also DE, so I want to be there and I do it. And it's a very, very polarizing, awkward experience sometimes. As you can see, I'm always present on camera and sharing, and love to overshare. A lot of blast. On the way back from our ski trip, there was a storm, and I always keep my parents on the loop. And as I'm, my husband's driving, and he's like, well, I think we'll have to put on chains. And I'm literally sitting there typing to my parents, like, we're gonna put on chains. And he's like, why are you oversharing every step of the way? It's just the blaster disease. It really is. Blaster hands and blaster disease. So that's my little SD blast.